Reversed atop the Southeastern Conference with a win today after Texas A&M dropped its series finale against Mac Morgan in the Circle for Texas today. Beginning things with coffee. Morgan got the start in Game 2 last weekend against Tennessee, suffered the loss, dropped to 7-2 on the season, lasted only 2 2/3.
Yeah, Matt Morgan going out there. Expect a lot of down balls. She throws it heavy. She lives with that drop ball. She's going to stay around 65, 68 miles per hour. So if she's on today, expect lots of ground balls.
1-2 fouled off towards the Texas bullpen. One-two pitch coming to Coffee. Into left field. Maloney backs up to make the catch. Excuse me, that's Henry out in left field now for Texas. Maloney in center. Change from the initial lineup we were given there, Megan. Throwing me off. There you see the defensive order as it was presented to us in pregame that just came up on your screen, but Texas has already made a couple of changes. We'll get those to you in a moment. That one gets over the head of Bennett playing second base. Hit by Lassiter. Lisa Tori Edwards, the fabulous freshman for LSU.
Tori Edwards yesterday wasn't able to register a hit. She was 0 for 4, came up big in some big-time situations, just not able to come through like she has been so clutch all season. So LSU really looking to get a little bit more production out of her today so they can get another W up in that column and get back in that win streak, because right now they're riding a 4-game skid.
Missing away. The defensive order for Texas is Henry in left, Maloney in center. The rest of it is as you saw on your screen. Simmons in right. Go over the infield in a moment.
Yeah, but
Scott, Stewart, Bennett, and Mitchell around the infield. Atwood catching for Morgan. And yes, Stewart at shortstop today was a surprise.
Katie Stewart at shortstop. Leanne Good has been the mainstay there. This can be her first start at shortstop this season. She did play there a little bit in the fall. Katie Stewart we saw yesterday in left field.
Texas in the all burnt orange unis today. LSU countering with the all whites. Gold letters and numbers in the gold sleeves. Into center field, and that one's knocked down by Simmons before it gets to the wall, but it does result in a double for Edwards. Lassiter moves to third.
Right on cue, as we're talking about LSU really needing Edwards to step up. She does. She gets this ball on the outside part of the corner. Just a little bit too good in that pitch count and just drives it right center. Katie Simmons in right field does a nice job knocking it down, of not allowing it to get all the way to the outfield. It gets to the outfield. I think you get a run across the plate for sure.
Macy Bazaran now for LSU. One for 4 yesterday. Single to lead off the 7th for her only hit. Just saw Edwards, now Bazaran, part of the Smash Sisters for LSU. They've combined for 24 of the team's 36 home runs. 9 of them belong to Bazaran. 6 of those came against ranked opponents.
I feel like for LSU right now, you're just watching a team that was so close yesterday. They had it right there, and you're watching them be aggressive, get good pitches to swing. And this one, maybe not barreled up, definitely very good on the inside part of the plate, but does just enough to be able to get that run across.
Lisa McKenzie Rudity, who did not play yesterday. Head coach Beth Torina told us in our pregame conversation she would be unavailable, no other details, but that she would return here for game 2. And that's a big bat to add to this lineup.
Oh, yeah.
Rudity hitting .342. There's Coach Torina, 14 years now in Baton Rouge. We just missed each other. I was a local sports anchor there in Baton Rouge, and then after my time ended, she arrived a couple years later. 2-1. To the second baseman, Bennett goes to first, and LSU plays a second run. Tori Edwards scores.
You know, I'm not sure right now, Chris, but I feel like that was a textbook double play. You've got one out on the board. Bennett needs to go turn two, get out of the inning.
Simply a mental hiccup there.
I think she thought maybe looking at home, but there was no way she was even going to go home. But that, unfortunately, gets Texas right out of this inning.
And into left field, backtracking right before she reaches the warning track. Henry able to bring it in, but LSU does some circle this afternoon. She threw 5 innings in her last start against Texas A&M last weekend, giving up 4 runs, all of them earned on 4 hits. She struck out 2 Aggies and walked 2. Clopton out for the last 2 seasons due to an injury to her shoulder. She was part of a couple of Women's College World Series teams at Oklahoma State before making her way to the Red Stick. Off of Maloney. They'll make the throw, but of course she comes back to the box now.
Yeah, I think that's pretty clear. Right off her toe right there. Maybe we can slow it down a little bit more, but I mean, she reacted pretty. There we go.
Aaron Golden, Robert Guest, J.C. Bartley conferencing to verify the call. Beth Torina not thrilled with it.
Yeah, and then I'm sure Coach Torina is going to wonder if she was in the box or not. In that replay we just saw, she was definitely still in the box.
There's Mike White, who won his 300th game as the Longhorn skipper yesterday. Another look at that last foul ball off the foot of Maloney.
She's definitely in the box. And off of her foot. Good call. Right call.
Now the 0-2 pitch. And Maloney rung up.
It's a great pitch by Clopton there. She goes with that curveball, riding it tight and inside to Maloney, especially after just drilling herself with the ball. You maybe have a little bit of the yips, but she definitely went across, not able to hold up there.
First pitch to Caden Henry fouled off. Hot shot gets to the wall in foul territory in right. Henry in center field for this one. To begin the day, we thought, and now into left.
I think a few changes, right? I think let's talk about Tatum Clopton in the circle today. I think that surprised us a little bit. I thought we were going to see Jaden Heavner for sure in the circle. Their other, for the most part, number 2 starter. Clopton, however, looking really strong here. She's going to go up, down. She's got a great curve as we've seen so far. And I think right now, Coach Beth Tarina looking maybe to give another breather for Huebner. Huebner had a really tough outing against A&M last weekend. She was only able to go 2/3 of an inning. She gave up 7 earned runs, 5 walks. And so, again, just really trying to, I think, ease her back into it. She's just a freshman. That's a tough outing for anyone to have to endure, especially at A&M. You have the fans that are out there. If you have those 5 walks, their ball count,
oh, yeah,
and they're chanting at you. And so, again, you want to be very delicate with how you put her back in.
One hopper to Edwards at first. Scott will step in. She provided some of those dramatics yesterday for Texas. 6th inning, and the Horns had yet to get any offensive production. Caden Henry drew a leadoff walk, and then Scott knocked a shot beyond the 220-foot sign on that center field wall.
This is just Clopton's second start in SEC play. And I just like already right now that she is going right at these Texas batters with that curveball inside. It's been 3 lefties in a row that she has not been afraid to throw that curveball. Tuck it right inside there. And Mia Scott kind of daring her to do it with where she's standing in the box right now. And there it is. And I want that one called a strike for sure. Your Bazaron back there. But I like that. I like the confidence. That's what you want to see out of your pitcher in the circle.
2-1 is the count against Scott. .453 her batting average. Clopton got that start last weekend against Texas A&M. Before that, had an appearance against Georgia in relief. So 3rd time to face an SEC foe.
A wicked changeup.
Her best outing came back on February 14th against Texas Arlington. Went 7 innings in that one, allowing just 2 hits and striking out 10 Mavericks. Reset back for the 3-2 offering from Clopton to Scott with 2 out. Line shot under the glove of Edwards. 2-out single for Scott. He'll bring up Reese Atwood.
You're going to see them go inside. It's that curve. It's elevated just a bit. Not quite as tight because of where Mia Scott's standing on the plate. Does a great job barreling it up and getting it past Tori Edwards at first.
First pitch to Atwood. Missing inside. We talked with Coach White before the game yesterday, and he said that Atwood's poise and production in stressful situations continues to be elite. Boy, did that turn out to be prophetic.
Yeah. I mean, I think you watch that whole game, right? You look at the score, you're like, really? Was it a pitcher's duel? But it was in the first 3 innings. You know, both of these offenses are so potent in the SEC and nationwide that I think you watched a hitter like this go hitless until the 7th inning. And so that's what you're talking about, staying poised and staying true to herself and doing it. Is the very first pitch she saw. And it was a no-doubter.
And you saw it just pop up on your screen. What a great fact from our research department. That walk-off grand slam yesterday, first time in Texas Longhorns history that had happened.
That's wild. I can't believe that's the first time. What a perfect person to have that happen to.
Increasing her lead, the all-time RBI leader, this time sat down by Tatum Clopton.
Tatum Clopton going with the off speed, the way that she's been able to command the plate, throwing it at both. Day starts, or in this case, Thursday, Saturday starts for Texas. She's really working into that role, and it's something different this year for sure. Last year there was 3 of them that they were really figuring out, and the rest of the staff, as far as Texas goes, Mac Morgan's been picking up that day 2 start, and you're going to probably see Sitlali come in after one time through the order. Potentially 2. It just depends, right? How Mac Morgan's feeling, how she's able to keep going.
Off the foot of Maddox McGee, who started a little bit of chippiness between these teams. It's safe to say, as McKee was rounding first base, Jolie Mitchell in her path. And McKee didn't pull up. We talk about LSU and the all-gas mentality. In that moment, on a routine single, it seemed like the brakes should have been thrown on.
Yeah, I think you're going to hear a little bit from both sides in that type of situation, right? A first baseman should not be in the way, right? And I probably think Mitchell's not going to be standing there much longer at all. But yeah, I think when the right fielder has the ball in her hand and you're just rounding, there's no need to collide.
Here's Jaden Leno. First pitch to her in the zone. Leno 0 for 4 yesterday. Now on a 3-game hitless streak for the first time since early March. In that case, she went 4 consecutive games without a base hit. 2 games versus South Alabama and then 2 against Minnesota.
Oh, that's a good looking pitch right there. Talking about Clopton and how well she's able to command that inside corner to those lefties, and I really like the spot Mac Morgan went there. Not sure where it missed.
2-1 into left. Henry backtracking. 2 out for Sierra Daniel now. Daniel had her 5th multi-hit game of the season yesterday. Singled in the 2nd and the 6th. First pitch fouled back into another packed house in Austin. Back-to-back sellout crowds, as you would hope you would get when the number 9 team in the country is facing the homestanding number 3 team. Shallow fly ball, and Henry slides to make the grab. A 1, 2, 3 inning.
That's every athlete's dream, is if you have something like that happen to you on defense, you get the opportunity to come up and hit at a time where you're within 1 and you get to hit a home run to tie the ball game. I mean, you dream of a situation like that, and you really get to be like, oh yeah, do that again.
Mitchell grounding that one foul past Coach White. Celebrating his 300th victory at the helm of this program yesterday. We asked him about it in pregame, and he didn't think much of it. Not worried about the milestones, just grateful to be at a fantastic school, to coach at this level. Just wants to focus on the next game, and those win totals will take care of themselves.
Yeah, and with it being number 300 for him, it was number 40 for Texas as a squad on the season. 6 years in a row, they've had a 40-plus win season. Another huge accomplishment, and all of that under Coach White.
Two pitch coming. Mitchell stays alive. I think the Texas softball social media had the line of the day in regards to that situation. When push comes to shove, Jolie stands tall. That's the kind of thing I wish I could have thought of on my feet when she went yard. They have a good 30, 60 seconds to come up with lines like that. We have to do it
I know.
blink of an eye.
We might even have a minute. Take a look here, Chris, where Jolie's standing in the box. She's up in the box, which is far different from what we saw Mia Scott.
Mitchell in the left, and that'll get to the base of the wall. After a game-tying homer yesterday, Mitchell starts her offensive performance today with a double.
Yeah, Jolie Mitchell, what an at-bat, fouling off plenty of pitches, making adjustments in the box. This is a hard pitch. That is a good pitch. It's a drop ball low and in, and you see she's able to go down and get it and barrel it up and drive it. Just a really great at-bat. She doesn't even have to finish her swing. She gets her barrel there on time, and her power does the rest.
Here's Katie Stewart. Enters the day in a three-way tie atop the SEC RBI leaderboard. 62 of them this season. One of the other players in that three-way tie is playing first base right now, Tori Edwards.
And just like Tori Edwards, Katie Stewart wasn't able to get a hit yesterday. She was 0 for 3, and someone who's really battling to get back in that hit train, just get back to feeling well, because clearly you look at these numbers, she has the ability, and she has been hitting all season long. 62 RBIs is just incredible.
Reese Atwood just one back into left field. Stewart puts a charge into it. That'll be a double. Runner sent home. And after Hodge can't find the handle, Mitchell able to score. Texas pulls within one.
Jolie Mitchell really lucky right there that Avery Hodge bobbles that ball, because I think she hesitated at second. She was trying to see. Here again, going inside. They're really trying to hammer that inside corner on these Longhorns. That ball elevated just enough. Katie Stewart able to get under it. Great relay in there by Leno. Just not able to get it taken care of.
Tigers 2, Longhorns 1. Nobody out in the bottom of the second after consecutive doubles by Mitchell and Stewart. Now Katie Simmons laying down a bunt, moving the runner over. Simmons is retired. Stewart now to third base.
And I think that just tells you right now where Coach White's at with his offense, knowing how important each one of these games are right now, that they're playing for one run right now. They're just playing to get this game tied, being able to sacrifice Stewart over to third.
Vic Hunter gets the start today. Sophomore out of Houston, hitting .206 on the year. Just her 11th start this season.
I'd love to see a mile per hour on that changeup. That thing's coming in there slow. There it is again. Good job behind the dish. Bazaran really trying to get that one called a strike off the plate.
Top of the first yesterday, I was looking on the scoreboard. There's no radar gun on there, unfortunately.
I know.
2-1.
I'm LSU. I want to stay away from Victoria Hunter. She just has such a powerful swing, but it's built to hit that inside corner.
Takes another, and Hunter is aboard. Runners on the corners for Texas. KD Bennett will have a chance to tie things up. Texas offense, top 10 in the country in all four of these important categories, including that .367 batting average. These are two of the top hitting teams in the SEC. That Texas average, second best in the country. 367, the only team doing better, the Indiana Hoosiers. They're hitting 384.
And
I
I
think
think
we'll have a moment to chat with Coach White before the 1-0 pitch is offered.
looks like Beth Trina's going to come out and chat with her pitcher too. Talk with the staff. You got a first and third situation. Deciding if they're going to get the out at second. If they're going to have someone cut across. Feel like when you're looking, like you're just talking about these offense, and you know how powerful Texas's offense right now. Number one in the SEC batting average. You're like, okay, they're just going to let her rip right here. But, you know, not with the batter you have. Katie Bennett. Then you have Ashton Maloney. They're touch and go type girls. They have a little pop. Yes. Can they get it out there? Could you get a sac fly? Sure. But I think that's where you're wondering how LSU is going to set up. And it looks like they're going to pull the infield in. Center field's pulled in. Trying to get that play at home.
Sydney Berzon is getting loose in the LSU pen. 1-0. That one caught at short by Hodge. On to first to double off Hunter. And LSU gets out of the inning. 1 out. First pitch from Morgan, grounded to Stewart and on to Mitchell. A quick 1 up, 1 down.
I feel like that's really been the first play that we've seen Stewart get tested over there at shortstop. First start here for Stewart at shortstop. Had a chance at that shallow fly ball. Caden Henry came up to get that one instead.
Mike White visiting with home plate umpire Aaron Golden before going to take the ball from Mac Morgan. Pitching chair with a 1.43 ERA. Replacing Mac Morgan right before Jayla Lassiter's at bat. Lassiter first pitch swinging against Gutierrez. Takes this one to the wall. A one-hopper. Slides in for a double.
Great job by Lassiter being able to just dial in first pitch she sees. I think a lot of times that's a great approach. I mean, that ball is middle, up in the zone. I mean, she's lucky, quite frankly, Gutierrez, that ball didn't leave the park for where the location of that pitch ended up being. But I feel like a lot of times relief pitchers are coming in. They just want to get that first strike, so what a great one to attack.
First pitch to Edwards. And Coach White told us yesterday that Mac Morgan is effective, but best used just one time through the order. She ended up facing Coffey twice, but other than that, just a single trip around. But Lassiter able to take advantage, and Gutierrez enters.
Yeah, and I think if you look at this lineup and Lassiter didn't get a hit her first at bat, Tori Edwards didn't, you maybe see Mac Morgan in there a little bit longer, but this is when you had 3 hits in a row from Lassiter, Edwards, and Bazaron. Good time to make that switch.
Edwards doubled. First time up, came around to score. Two-one. Now 2-2. And we asked Beth Torina if this was expected. Did you think Edwards would be this red hot to start her career? Can't expect this. 62 runs batted in her rookie season.
Yeah, I don't think anyone can expect that. You never know. Not with you then jump into this SEC grind, incredible pitching, and she's just not slowed down.
3-2 pitch. Fouled off. Edwards coming to LSU from Flower Mound, Texas. Her brother played football for LSU, transferring in from Columbia. And those battles in the weight room are things of legend. Tori hanging tough with her brother in those. And this time knocking one over the wall. Tori Edwards with a 2-run homer for LSU. As my friend Lynn Rollins would say in Tiger Park, you can pucker up and kiss that baby goodbye.
You know, right before that pitch, she looked at her dugout and she told them the spin that she was seeing. She gave like a little hand motion to what she saw, and she is just absolutely dialed in on that one. And that's the student of the game that also Beth Torina talked about. That's supposed to keep going away. That looked like that was supposed to be a curve away. It kind of stuck right there on the corner, and Tori Edwards, middle of the box, got all of it.
Macy Bazaran try to follow that up. She had an RBI single in the first. Infield playing on a shift against Bazaran as Bennett moves over to the left of second base from our perspective. See it there, Bennett, Stewart, and Scott from right to left. 2-0 the count.
Well, interesting that you're going to pull your infield all to the left side and still throw to the outside part of the plate. That's a little risky. However, it was a changeup, expecting her to pull it. Clearly, they see her spray chart that she is a pull hitter.
A 4-pitch walk. Issue to Bazaran. That'll lead to a mound visit for Gutierrez. Nothing but pain for her so far. Entered with 1 out and has proceeded to allow a double, a home run, and a base on balls.
Yeah, and I feel like not what you want, especially coming off of that Tennessee appearance that she had. She came in relief. She threw 4 1/3, only scattering 4 hits, striking out 3, just 1 earned run, and you're really wanting to ride that coming into here. That's a tough start.
Sold out crowd, a good number of Tiger fans made their way to Austin. I think that's true for fans of all sports, of pretty much all SEC teams. When Texas was added to the league, I think I want to make that road trip to Austin pretty soon.
Oh, yeah. And vice versa. You know, when we heard that that was coming, I was like, oh my gosh, this is great. Now I have a reason to go to Death Valley. I have a reason to go check out some of these schools. I want to go to Stark Vegas, see what that's all about.
To the second baseman, Bennett. Chance at a double play. No. As Stewart decides to eat it. And that was the right call, with Rudity making her way down the line.
I think the way that this bounced over there to Bennett takes her back a little bit, gets rid of it just fine, but not with the added speed. Rudity.
Avery Hodge takes the first pitch for his strike right down the pipe. Hodge 1 for 3 yesterday, 2-run single in the 4th. Very familiar with these Texas Longhorns. As Hodge, transfer from Oklahoma, 2-time national champion with the Sooners. Unable to get that call on the outside part of the plate.
That's tough. You really want to get that. I think maybe could have called it a little upstairs. I feel like it was right on the line.
The 1-2 into left for Henry. No problem. But Tori Edwards delivers some fireworks for LSU in the top of the 3rd inning. Added in, tops in the SEC all to herself.
Just an incredible performance. Edwards been able to string together. Again, you can't say it enough, just as a freshman and a leader. I think it's one thing, you know, you look out there as a freshman, she can put those numbers up, but it's the student of the game part. It's the part of her work ethic. It's in the weight room. It's talking and explaining things back to her teammates.
Daniel able to get to it, make a quick flip to Edwards to retire Maloney.
Sierra Daniel doing a nice job. Usually expecting that ball to go up the middle, still being able to glove it, making it look routine.
Looked like she snow coned it there. Now here's Caden Henry entering the day, the new team leader for Texas in batting average, overtaking Maloney at 455. Just a single point better than her teammate in the outfield. Hot shot to right field, brought in by Rudity.
I think that's all about positioning. I can't believe Rudity happened to be playing so deep for your two-hole hitter, Caden Henry, but that is great defense positioning. That ball was struck well.
Backtracking, making the grab as her momentum carried her onto the warning track. Mia Scott singled in the first. This is one of those players that Coach White wants up in big moments. He told us she's got that dog in her. A fighter in the best sense. Shallow outfield. Hodge goes back from shortstop to make the catch. Quick 1-2-3 inning executed by LSU pitcher Tatum Clopton. And the Tigers, because of that result, Texas A&M now only a half game up on Texas for first place in the Southeastern Conference. Take a look at those standings with the Aggies now at 13-4, Longhorns at 12-4. Down at the bottom of this list, you see LSU, three-way tie for 8th place currently, 8-8. Same is the case for Ole Miss and Alabama. And those top 4 spots really make all the difference in this single elimination SEC tournament. Those 4 teams will get a double bye.
And I think it's pretty clear to see why you would want a double bye. But I think the other thing is just you don't want all the extra games before heading into postseason. You don't want to start beating yourselves up on some of these extra. Not that it doesn't mean anything, but you do want to be that SEC champion, of course. But want to do it with the least amount of games under your belt for sure.
Sidlali Gutierrez came on in relief with 1 out in the 3rd. Now facing Maddox McKee. Missing inside. Count is full. McKee had some great moments on this field back in her high school days. Led Lake Creek to back-to-back Texas state championships in the UIL. This time put out on a grounder to Mitchell. Those Texas high school playoffs underway next week. The road to Austin. And we'll crown more champions than we're used to in this state as the classes have been divided. Division I and Division II champions in all classes this season.
Nice. It's exciting for them to be able to come here and play right in Charlene McCombs.
Jaden Leno for LSU. Bounce to Atwood, can't glove it. Leno flied out to left in the 2nd. 1-1 offering from Gutierrez. In the left, Henry able to move and make the play. That'll lead to Sierra Daniel.
I think this would be huge for Gutierrez right now if she can get a quick 1-2-3 after last inning, settle in. Already looking like she has a little bit more command on her pitches. A little bit more sharpness, more cut on that curve. That was a good ball right there.
Nine-hole hitter, Daniel. Danica Coffey waiting on deck, hoping for an opportunity. The Tigers can turn the lineup over. Two balls, no strikes with 2 out and nobody on for LSU.
Like for Daniel, that's when she's got to get after. It's a hitter's count. You know they don't want to go 3-0, and that ball was all over the heart of the plate, belt high.
These Tigers are hunting pitches they can drive. This one a hopper over the pitcher, and Stewart can't glove it. Making her first start at shortstop this season, and Stewart allows Daniel to reach base.
You're going to see here this go right over the pitcher's head, and I feel like she's got the right beat on it. Fortunately, just can't glove it.
Here's Coffey, 0 for 2 on the day.
I think it goes without mentioning again that Katie Stewart at shortstop. Texas trying to find a different way to get the bottom half of the lineup starting to hit, get a little bit more action down there. Leanne Good having a tough time figuring out what she needs to do to be able to. She was riding an 0 for 8 skid coming into today.
And official score has granted Daniel an infield single on that last play.
Not sure about that.
Seems like a play that Stewart should make. One-two with 2 out and a runner on for LSU. Coffey right back, Gutierrez. Easy throw over to Mitchell. Reese Atwood will lead. Just a junior for Texas, already atop that leaderboard. Chris Mykoski with Megan Willis, game 2 of LSU versus Texas. Game 3 of the series is tomorrow at noon Eastern, 11 Central. You'll see that one on ESPN2.
I think second time through the order for Clopton. You've just noticed her really utilizing that off-speed pitch. She got Mia Scott to fly out. You're seeing her go. That pitch right before that was off speed, and I just think this is a really good change. You've got to change your stuff, right? After one time through the lineup, the offense is going to start making their adjustments, so you've got to try something different as well.
Able to avoid a 4-pitch walk to Atwood, the reigning D1 softball and Softball America National Player of the Year. Bounces it in, and Atwood will head down to first.
I feel like this is exactly what Texas needs, a leadoff walk here. This is what got it started for Texas. Yesterday there was a leadoff walk with Caden Henry before Mia Scott went yard. Jolie Mitchell, her last at-bat came up and ripped a double off the wall.
First pitch to Mitchell.
There's that off speed.
Doubled to begin the second for Texas and came around to score. Transfer from Notre Dame, who was an all-ACC first-team selection. in 2023.
Interesting move right there. I don't think anyone was expecting bunt. Mitchell well up in the box. She did this last time, had success.
Rough release point there for Clopton. Sends it well high, running the count of 3-0. This time able to put it in. Again, avoiding a 4-pitch walk. Double barrel action in the LSU bullpen. Case coach Dorina decides to make a change here with Clopton having control issues.
Yeah, and it looks like right now LSU, I mean, Clopton hasn't gotten a lot of innings in so far in SEC play. LSU has all 3 of their pitchers up and going. It looks like they're all
triple
kind of
barrel.
Yeah.
The third catcher, we can only see the catchers from our viewpoint here in the press box. The third one was blocked by the bleachers.
Yeah, all 3 pitchers were up there, and I think we've watched them kind of throwing throughout the game, keeping that arm warm. But I think when you're taking a look here, 2 walks right there within 5 pitches, only threw 1 strike each time. This is a time right now for Texas. They have got to take advantage, and I feel like Texas is kind of taken a little bit to get excited again. This happened to them yesterday. First 5 innings, only 2 hits against LSU, and it wasn't until that collision there was a little spark underneath them, and Mia Scott gets this home run. But who better for Texas? Katie Stewart to come up to a bat right here with runners on. She had a double her last at bat. She's got to be patient and trust in herself here.
She represents the potential game-tying run. Longhorns trailing by 3 with nobody out. 2 runners on base. Clopton really good in midweek opportunities, some spot starts. This is only her 2nd start against an SEC opponent. Keep hitters guessing.
Yeah, will she go 3 changeups in a row?
No. Lifts it to left.
That is exactly why you throw that double change, is so that next pitch you're going to go hard. It's going to feel faster, gets in on the hands on Stewart. That's a great job by Clopton. That is a huge out for LSU. Knowing the power behind Katie Stewart's bat, I mean, that is perfect location. Rise ball at the hands.
Saw the frustration on Stewart's face. Katie Simmons. Laid down a sacrifice bunt in the 2nd. Free swing here with 1 out. Trying to force Clopton to put 1 in the strike zone. Inside, and Simmons hits it with a small part of the bat, foul. Two balls and a strike. Caught the inside corner.
I think when you're throwing that changeup as much as she is, you're getting Texas. I feel like right there you're guessing a little bit. You've only seen 1. Got a curve. You went inside. I'm going to get another, and instead I got to harden in.
2-2 on the changeup. Potential double play ball. Can only get 1. Runners on the corners for Texas. Mitchell is retired at 2nd. And the powerful bat of Vic Hunter now with an opportunity. sophomore who's been used sparingly this season. Gets her 11th start on the year. Walked her first time up.
And they threw her 3 changeups. I know I'm all about the changeup right now, but I do think this is a huge reason why they're keeping Texas off the board. Only 1 run so far.
0-1, fouls it off herself. Tatum Clopton put the first 2 hitters aboard this inning with walks. Now 1 pitch away from getting out of this jam. Waste 1 outside. Texas had 2 on and nobody out. In danger of wasting the opportunity. Count now even. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out. 2 on for Texas, and Hunter grounds to Coffey at third. Over to Edwards to close out the 4th inning. Texas gets 2 on with extremely productive part of the LSU order due up, Megan. 2, 3, and 4. Lassiter, Edwards, Bazaran. They're responsible for all of LSU's runs today. 5 for 5 as a group.
Yeah, and that starts with Lassiter there. 2 for 2. She's already got a single and a double.
Lassiter into center field. Maloney backtracks to make the grab. 3rd inning, after a double by Lassiter, Tori Edwards stepped up to the plate and unleashed this rocket that just cleared the wall and left.
Yeah, this is a pitch that was elevated, and you have to be careful with a hitter like Tori Edwards. Just a freshman, but leads the country, 62 RBIs, and shows us, again, why she is so powerful with that home run.
Now all alone atop the SEC RBI leaderboard. Entered the day in a 3-way tie.
Oh, she's now at 64 then. Was that the last 2 that?
Yep.
Math.
We've had to do some of that this weekend.
It's tough.
Had to quickly add 4 RBI yesterday to Reese Atwood's total on the walk-off grand slam. She continues to pad her resume, the best in Longhorn history to drive runners home. Edwards may be the best in LSU history when all is said and done. This time she grounds out.
Well, if you're Sitlali Gutierrez, you got to breathe a little easier. You were able to get through Lassiter and Edwards there. It's not done yet, but just looking back at how this game's gone, you've got to be able to relax just a little bit more.
And Bazaran again will face a shift from the Texas infield as Bennett moves over to the left of second base from our perspective.
Texas still going to throw her outside.
Scott at third, Stewart at short, and Bennett, the second baseman, has moved to that side of the infield as well. Tag team, Edwards and Bazaran. Yesterday, just 1 of 8. And today, look at the turnaround. 4 of 5, and responsible for so much of LSU's production. Big reason why the Tigers lead this 4-1. Two-one pitch from Gutierrez.
And really, it was just switching the 2 of them. Yesterday, Tori Edwards was in the 4-hole. Today, they moved her up to 3, and that's all it took. Sometimes it's just that easy.
Putting her aboard on 5 pitches. Leads to Mackenzie Rudity, who did not play yesterday. Tigers were missing her big bat. 342 average with 36 runs batted in. That was the first game all season that she did not start. Beth Torina keeping it in-house, not letting us know why she wasn't playing, simply that she wasn't available, but that she would return to the lineup on Friday.
Yeah, and I think, you know, we're not sure what it was, but you know that they missed her yesterday. They needed that extra bat. Especially, again, coming off of such a hard weekend at A&M. They're looking to get back in that win column.
1-2 the counts from Gutierrez to Rudity. Two out. Bazaron on first. Gutierrez uses a foul ball. Rudity is the active home run leader for LSU, 16 on her career. Takes that one inside.
Good location right there. I feel like that went right over her knee. Must have been a little bit inside.
The 2-2. Now full. Full count with 2 out. Runner on first, LSU leading by 3. Got her swinging. Rudity now 0 for 3 on the day as Gutierrez leaves Bazaron stranded at
Stewart, 62 RBIs on the season. That is not who I would want to face after just walking 2, and she gets her to fly out on a easy fly ball and takes care of the rest.
This is the kind of environment that Clopton wanted to experience again. You go through all that work to get back from a shoulder injury. Kept you out for 2 seasons. That takes so much dedication to get back to this level. And now pitching in front of a sold-out crowd in a top 10 matchup against the Texas Longhorns.
Yeah, I think before those injuries too, she's been to the World Series. She knows what it feels like. She wants to get her team back and finally healthy enough and starting to build back the strength to get more and more innings and more starts.
Katie Bennett, who also has a fantastic arc in her story. Didn't think she was going to play college softball. Now playing on the highest level for Texas. Grounds out to Hodge.
Center fielder.
Back to the top of the Longhorn order for Ashton Maloney. Maloney struck out in the first, grounded to second base in the third. Her Texas team winning its 40th game of the season yesterday. That's now 6 consecutive seasons of 40 or more wins. Here's that Texas red hot batting order. 5 players above 500.
Top 5 hitters here too. It's just incredible. And right now Clopton making easy work of it, quite frankly. This is 3rd time through the lineup. You see numbers like that, you expect these hitters to come up with a different approach, a different plan. Ashton Maloney 0 for 2 already. This is the time she needs to bear down. And someone who can, again, you just saw the numbers, very capable.
Missing in.
But I think that just goes to tell you how well Tatum Clopton's throwing today. And it has everything to do with that off speed, not afraid to throw it at any count, multiple times through an at-bat, and then cut that riser high, hard and in, just like that. And it makes it look that much faster after keeping those off speeds. But she's been able to throw that rise ball both sides of the plate. And, oh, yeah, she's got the curveball. So I just think she has such command today of that, and the pitch calling has just been incredible.
Here's the 3-2. Shallow center coming on. It's Lassiter. Lassiter was playing in. Only reason she was able to get to that one. Caden Henry with 2 out. First, Beth Torina will make a trip out to see Clopton. You rave about Clopton's performance today, and one good thing can lead to another for LSU, getting that confidence up, building towards the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, I think, I mean, even yesterday, it was a turn of events there in the 6th and 7th for Texas to be able to pull that one out. But before that, I think LSU had command of the game. And just to start the game today, they came out hot. They came out and scored 2 in that first inning. And I feel like you're right on the edge, right? You're right. You can see it even against A&M. The way that their offense battled back with some of those games, I feel like they can taste it. They are so close, and the numbers they put up are incredible, but it's games like this they need to be able to hold on to. You have to be able to have Clopton finish this inning. Defense has got to have her back, and I think that was one thing, maybe a conversation there. So I'm not sure why else you would call a timeout right there. It's not like no one was rattled.
Right.
Unless there was something she needed to say about Caden Henry. It's just, again, making sure her team's nice and relaxed.
1-1 the count to Henry. Tigers coming off a sweep at the hands of Texas A&M. First time that had happened to LSU since March of 2023 when they were swept by Tennessee. Coach Torina telling us that they just could not seem to put it all together in any one of those 3 games. Finally starting to do that, it appears, in Game 2 against Texas. The 1-2 to Daniel. And on to Edwards for the 3rd out. Tatum Clopton with a 1-2-3 inning for the second time to 7-4. Also another highlight yesterday was Tennessee walking it off against Auburn. Taylor Pannell with a 2-run homer to beat the Tigers. A couple of walk-offs yesterday in the SEC, as we also had one here in Austin, as the Longhorns had the first walk-off grand slam in program history to beat LSU.
I'm loving the parity. I love that you get into this SEC play.
Hodge grounds out to Scott.
You know, I feel like, especially with the addition of Texas and OU to the SEC, OU for the last 4 years, so dominant. And now you get them in the mix, and you're watching them lose a couple games. They've lost more games than they have in the past couple years ever during conference play. So I think it's just going to make this postseason that much more interesting. Non-SEC play, I know I've been talking to you about it, that Arizona-Texas Tech series happening right now. Arizona took that one, where you have reigning National Player of the Year.
Nyjah Kennedy, who we saw here in Austin.
Yeah, Nyjah. And you just think about it, Texas Tech's number 14 right now. Arizona's 13. Arizona takes that. Are you going to bump Texas Tech down? And as we're talking postseason and everyone beating themselves up, if Texas Tech doesn't host a regional, that means they're getting sent to a regional. That means Nyjah Kennedy is being sent to a regional, which is just going to make it crazy. I think that's why we call it mayhem.
I'll be locked into the whip-around coverage. I hope our friend Chris Budden is back anchoring that this year. Always fun to see all of the action from around the country on regional weekend. Get these looks from my wife and kids when I'm sitting there watching. How many games are you watching right now? Oh, they're in a 6-box.
Yeah.
They've got 6 of them up right now. I can understand what's going on in all of them, sure. Even get the octo box sometimes. 8 at a time.
I can't do that. I can only focus maybe 2 at a time. It's like I like the red zone for softball.
That's what we get on ESPN Plus throughout that opening weekend of the tournament. 3-1 the count to Leno. 0 for 2 on the day. Missing away. Walked on 5 pitches. Sierra Daniel will have a chance at the bottom of the LSU order to pad this lead that currently stands at 4-1. Daniel robbed of a hit in the second as a sliding Henry came on to make the play in left and then singled in the 4th inning.
Yeah, after Bazaran, Sierra Daniel's the only one at the bottom half of the lineup that's been able to put up another hit. It'd be big for her to be able to keep this inning going and get to the top of the lineup for Coffee.
To the right side of the infield for Mitchell, who will apply the tag for the 3rd out. Tigers only able to get a walk, unable to muster any other offense. We'll head to the bottom. Texas, as the Tigers played 3 in College Station last weekend against the Aggies and never left Lone Star State. Decided to spend an extra day in College Station before making their way to San Marcos for a couple of days, and then coming down to Austin prior to the beginning of this series. Scott takes the off-speed pitch from Clopton. We talked about it a little bit yesterday, but one of the activities for LSU during this extended stay in Texas was to go to a smash room.
Yeah.
They didn't want to go to one of those puzzle rooms trying to solve how to get out.
Escape
the
room.
escape room. Yeah. Instead, put on the glasses, put on the hard hats, grab a mallet, and break things.
But you had to ask, like, oh, well, that's one way to get over the A&M sweep. She's like, no, we actually had this one planned, but it kind of worked in our favor. The girls got out there. We got to smash some cars even.
2-2, liner stabbed by Lassiter.
It's a great job by Lassiter in center field. That ball was dying. Yes, it was on a line drive, but not quite as sharp. And I think you kind of had a little drop ball action. So great job for her being able to nose that one in.
Just outside one of the horns in the center field logo. Lassiter able to bring it in. Now Atwood struck out in the 1st, walked in the 4th, and was left stranded at 3rd base. Pops it up in the infield. Daniel calls for the ball.
And that's that off speed again. I think being able to throw it, I think that first time through the lineup, you didn't see it as much. Second time, she was starting a lot of the at-bats with it, using it a second time, sometimes back-to-back, and now I feel like you're seeing her throw it just about at any point. You're guaranteed to get 2 in an at-bat.
Mitchell doubled to lead off the second. Came in to score the Longhorns' only run today.
Yeah, and you know what? I'd love to, and I probably will shoot Coach Singleton, Steve Singleton, the hitting coach for Texas, a message. She is the only batter, Jolie Mitchell, to be up in the box, and I feel like this is an approach that is so strong for a pitcher like Clopton. And why I say that is it takes away the curveball away. If you're up, that curveball won't break away, so you can attack that. I think you can either get the read of that rise ball a little bit quicker or get your barrel there before it goes over your bat. And she's also had success, so I do think that this is something that's working really well for her. I'd like to see some righties make some adjustments here, third time through.
Clopton walks her on 5 pitches. Fourth walk issued by Clopton today. As we saw yesterday from Sydney Burzon, this is not an overpowering pitcher. He's going to rack up a ton of strikeouts. Off the glove of Coffey, and that's a fair ball as Mitchell makes her way to third base. Stewart gets to second. Longhorns have something going with 2 out in the 6th.
And that's a great adjustment right there by Katie Stewart. Her last at-bat, she got jammed up on that high and in pitch. This time, first pitch, they go back inside. She opens up that step and able to rip it right down third base line. Her second double of the day, but big key right there is she opened up her front step so she could clear her hips.
Off the glove of Coffey and over into foul territory, allowing Mitchell to come to third. Stewart advances to second. Texas has struggled with runners in scoring position today. You see it there, just 1 of 5. Simmons the potential game-tying run. Longhorns trail by 3.
I think you're going to see Clopton live outside, throw that change just where Simmons is sitting, off the plate and open. Or not. They're going to go with the drop in. Good hold there.
3 balls and a strike. First base open for Simmons. She'll occupy it now. Mike White calling for time to discuss this at bat with Vic Hunter. Hunter, no stranger to coming up big in clutch moments. Bottom of the 6th, NCAA Super Regionals against Texas A&M. Clubbed a grand slam. Also had a pinch hit homer in UT's win over Baylor in the Big 12 Championship semifinals.
See Coach Trina looking over to that. Yep, they're going to make a change here.
Clopton is done for the day.
I think this is a good move right here. Sydney Burzon coming in. She was so strong yesterday against Texas. Vic Hunter has not faced her.
Here's a look at Clopton's day. Of course, she is still responsible for the 3 runners on base through 5 2/3 innings. Again, not overpowering stuff, just 2 strikeouts, inducing a lot of ground balls. Gives up 4 hits in total and just 1 Texas run so far. Remember, again, she is responsible for the 3 runners on base. And Sydney Berzon back in the circle after starting yesterday. Her resume, impressive to say the least. A 2-time All-American.
Yeah, and yesterday, just the line that she was able to put up those first 5 innings against Texas, that's what she's going to hold on to, right? She only gave up 2 hits in those 5 innings, and I think that's where you're going to watch her. Texas, on the other hand, they're not keeping with Vic Hunter. You're going to have a pinch hitter. Kigora is going to come up here, too. So someone who at least had an at-bat. I think that was the big thing. I thought that was a great move by Coach Beth Torina to make the change there, knowing Vic Hunter hadn't faced Berzon, and all of a sudden Texas, little chess match game going on here. They're going to go ahead and put in a new batter as well.
Vanessa Quiroga will step in from the left side.
I love that. Danica Coffey, when she goes, we go. She is definitely the leader of this team. Sydney calls her the leader of this team. And you saw it right there, the way she was able to hype her pitcher up.
First pitch from Berzon. Jolie Mitchell at third. Katie Stewart at second. Katie Simmons at first. Quiroga at the plate, the senior from Corpus Christi Carroll. Handled by Hodge, flip to Daniel to get the 3rd out. Longhorns leave them loaded. LSU survives that 6th inning and still LSU, and that's still where we stand now as we begin the 7th. Coffey leading things off. That one just foul.
You just can't say enough about the performance by Tatum Clopton. I think knowing it was just her 2nd start, you're going up against a number 3 Texas, a team that's been number 1 on and off all season, against the number 1 hitting team in the SEC. That's the performance. That's the Clopton LSU expected before the injuries. And so nice to have that back, and what a time to have that back in the middle of this grind coming off of A&M Texas. They go to Florida next week, so talk about going through the top SEC hitting teams. You just saw them. You get through that, I feel like you're kind of sitting easy. You know where to take a look at your pitching staff. What do we have to get through once we get to postseason? And it is definitely getting through that A&M Texas and Florida hitting.
Well, thankfully for their sake, the Florida Gators will come to Baton Rouge
that's
next
helpful.
weekend.
That is helpful.
Then have to go back on the road one more time at Arkansas before heading to the SEC tournament in Athens, Georgia. 3-2 pitch coming to Coffey. Right at Gutierrez. Texas can't finish the play as Bennett took it off the deflection. Gutierrez waving off anybody on the athletic training staff. She's okay.
That was a good pitch. Outside corner. Coffey just doing an even better job being able to stay on it, drive it up the middle. Luckily, Gutierrez is fine.
First pitch to Lassiter. It goes down as a single that rocked it off of Gutierrez. Now Lassiter, who singled in the first, doubled in the third, coming home to score both times. Potential double play ball from Stewart to Bennett. No, they won't even get a single out here. As Stewart backed up to make the play, couldn't get it to Bennett in time to retire the lead runner.
That's all about the speed of Danica Coffey. She's at the top of the lineup for a reason there, but you see where this ball takes Stewart, and I don't think there's no time wasted. That is absolutely the speed of Coffey, and this is where it gets tough. This is LSU. This is where all the damage has been done. is the 2, 3, 4 hitters right now, and 2 runners on. Got Tori Edwards up. I mean, this has to be what the conversation's about right now. Patty Ruth Taylor coming out to chat with her pitcher and probably talking, you know, like, we do have an open bag here. Tori Edwards has already gone yard once today. Hard to say that. I mean, I think you would maybe take your chance with Bazaron. She got her out the last inning, though, too. So I think it's just more about, hey, we got to hit our corners here. If you walk her, you walk her.
And Edwards knows exactly what she's doing against Gutierrez. Beth Torina called her the most prepared hitter that the Tigers have. She has a plan for everybody and understands how to execute it. Total package for LSU. You touched on it many times, Megan. Such a great student of the game. Only one home run to go for Edwards to tie atop this leaderboard. Home runs by a first-year player in this storied LSU program.
Yeah, and just the way that she's swinging, and I think she's going to get to that and then some.
And she'll take a walk here. Bases full of Tigers with nobody out for the cleanup hitter, Macy Bazaron. A career year for Bazaron, looking to add to it. If you're thinking potential grand slam, Bazaron has 9 homers this year. See that added together with Tori Edwards, 25 between that twosome. Grounder through the right side. That scores Coffee, and Lassiter's heading home as well. LSU plates 2 more. Bazaron will be retired as she heads to second base, but she delivers 2 runs batted in, and LSU increases its lead to 6-1.
It's a great piece of hitting by Bazaron right there. She gets a pitch on the outside part of the plate and just pokes it to the right side. She's not even getting it on the full barrel, but where Texas is playing, they're playing in to get that force at home. Because of that, there's no chance Bennett's going to be able to get that. Texas, luckily, able to get that out at second. Bazaron trying to take 2. I don't think that throw needs to go all the way to 3, but it doesn't come back to hurt Texas.
Michaela Walker will pinch hit for Mackenzie Rudity here. This LSU fan has been walking back and forth, trying to get a rise out of the Texas fans.
He's everywhere. Saw him in College Station, too. He travels with the team.
All smiles from security right now. We saw the chippiness between the teams yesterday. We don't want that spilling over into the stands. Gutierrez will head out. Texas will make a change in the circle. Gave up 2 runs on 2 hits and didn't register an out against Mississippi State. Their ERA still strong at 2.10 on the year, 6 wins, no losses. First hitter she sees is Michaela Walker, pinch hitting for Mackenzie Rudity. Walker hitting 190.
For Salmon, I think you just have to come out here. It's much easier said than done, but you got to control that strike zone. You got to go aft, especially with that pinch hitter. Trust your stuff. And change the momentum.
As Walker at a 2-2 count with 1 out. Tori Edwards standing at third base. Tigers have already scored 2 in this half inning. Little tapper back to Salmon. On to Mitchell for out 2.
It's a great job. That's an off-speed pitch there. Control the ball. Made sure to check that Edwards wasn't going to go anywhere.
Avery Hodge now for LSU. 0 for 3. Flied out to left in the first and the third. Then grounded to third base in the 6th inning. Bennett scoops and throws. Edwards unable to score, but part of a 2-run inning for LSU, padding this lead. Texas for 8th place currently with Ole Miss and Alabama. KD Bennett, 9-hole hitter, leads off the 7th for Texas. And back to Ashton Maloney and Caden Henry at the top of the order. Missing away, Sydney Berzon. Came on in relief of Tatum Clopton. For the final out of the 6th.
I think for Berzon yesterday, it was that drop ball. She was really able to work those first 5 innings, both sides of the plate, get a lot of ground balls out of the Texas bat. She's got that changeup as well and can run it up if she needs to. There's that drop.
Can't put a bat on that one, and Bennett now facing a 2-2 count. Two-two offering to Bennett, taps it and stays alive. Bennett was the only acquisition out of the transfer portal for Texas in the offseason. Coach White needed a utility player. She fit the bill. Coming over from Abilene Christian, where she was an all-WAC performer. Before that, an all-Southland Conference performer at Texas A&M Commerce. 3-2. That school now known as East Texas A&M. But when she first arrived there in Commerce, just planned to be a regular student. Didn't want to play softball collegiately. But she was really good at Caddo Mills High School, so word got around. Back to Sydney Berzon, who misfires over to Edwards. Bennett going down to second, slides in safely. Texas has its leadoff hitter to second base to begin the 7th.
Well, if Texas needed momentum, this is what you've got to capitalize on here. This takes Berzon off to the side, unfortunately not able to make a good throw, and no one's backing up. It's kind of in no man's land there, just the way it goes. Edwards gives a great throw back over to second, just not in time.
Ashton Maloney is 0 for 3. By the way, Mackenzie Ruderty is back out in the field. She was pinch hit for offensively, returns on defense for LSU. Missing away, 3-0 to Maloney. Maloney, one of the best to do it all time for Texas. A 4.05 average all time in burnt orange. Takes a walk. Two on, nobody out.
I like this timeout by the catcher. Bazron come out, chat with her pitcher. Hey, we've got the lead here. We've got 5 runs. We just need you to get us the ground balls. Bring it up. Defense is going to have your back. You get us a ground ball. Get us a 6-4-3 right here. Get us a double play. Who cares if a runner gets to third? You know, and I think that's what you're talking with. Play your infield back. There, of course, you have Danica Coffey there, the leader of this team. Again, firing her pitcher up. We've got your back.
You hear the air horns, the car horns from beyond the wall here at Red and Charlene McCombs Field. How do you draw that duty? Your family and friends are inside watching the game. We need you to stay out there and hit the horn. It's not just the air horn, it's some car horns too.
Love that. Great job after that walk, coming right back at Caden Henry. Pulling that drop ball up for a strike and then a changeup. Now she can toy with her.
One and two the count. Sydney Burzon working in relief for LSU. Goes away. Now a bit more of a favorable situation for Henry. Two goes foul into the Texas bullpen. Well, despite the deficit, Longhorn faithful have stuck around. Every seat is filled here in Austin, and they watch the first out of the bottom of the 7th, registered by Sydney Burzon. Mia Scott came up yesterday, bottom of the 6th inning, a runner on base, and smashed this Burzon pitch over the wall in center. They meet again here on Friday. Oh, 1 the count. Scott lifts it to left. Leno drifting into foul territory and makes the second out.
2 huge outs by Burzon there, getting that strikeout from Caden Henry and then using that changeup again, kind of getting it up in the zone and getting Mia Scott to chase. That's absolutely a buzzkill for Texas and a great job by Burzon.
Now yesterday's hero, Reese Atwood. Came up with the bases loaded, bottom of the 7th, and hit it off the wall of the grad student apartments across the street from the stadium. First walk-off grand slam in Longhorn softball history. Tigers 1 out away from evening this series at 1 game apiece. Atwood atop the leaderboard, most RBI all time for Texas, and she is only a junior. Grounded to short. Hodge tags second for the third out, and the Tigers even up the series, 1 game apiece, 6-1 victors over the Texas Longhorns.
I just can't say enough about the pitching duo right now between Tatum Clopton and Sydney Berzon. The fact that they were able to silence this Texas